Freeze chip.
Come on, get up, linebacker boy. His ass. Come on, kick yourself up. Shit, not fair, Shell. None of that goddamn ninja horse shit. Fucking psycho.
Oh, yeah?
I knew you'd come back.
Yeah, wouldn't miss it for the world.
The main character is Jonathan Shale, a Vietnam War veteran. His job is to solve problems where the system is helpless. He's a mercenary. His life is full of bitterness and disappointment. After a failed mission that cost 3 of his men their lives, he escapes from Cuba to the Florida Keys in a rubber boat. A support team is waiting for him on a motorboat. They pick him up near the coast and help him get to land. He loses his job and goes to Miami to visit his old friend, a school teacher named Jane Hetzko. Jane teaches history at a rough school called Columbus. The environment there is tough. Most students are teenagers from poor areas, and many of them are in gangs. The most dangerous gang is the Kings of Destruction, led by a charismatic but ruthless guy named Juan Lacas. He intimidates teachers and students and controls everything in and around the school.
Well, you're no person to me, bitch, right? So back the fuck off. Fucking wish you did.
One day, Jane and her colleague, English teacher Daryl Sherman, stop a group of students from beating up another kid. The attackers work for Lacas. Jane tries to talk sense into Juan, but he just threatens her. Jane goes to the school principal, Claude Roll, tells him about the threats and asks to expel Juan, but Roll shakes his head. He says there's no official reason, not enough proof, so his hands are tied. Jane leaves with nothing. Later in the parking lot, Jane's car is surrounded by drunk teenagers led by Juan. They stuff gum into the car lock, block her path, and mock her. She manages to push past them and escape just in time.
Fuck you up there! Drop by the house!
Jonathan is looking for work. He gets a call from his old teammate Joey Six. Joey invites him to a strip club to discuss a job. There, Joey says a lawyer is offering good money for a mission. Shale asks if it's drug-related. If so, he's out. Joey says it's all clean and asks him to just show up. At the meeting with the lawyer, they want armed escorts for a shipment from South America and are willing to remove anyone who interferes. Shale quickly realizes it's a drug operation. It goes against everything he believes. He ends the meeting and walks away.
You want to know what the difference is?
Difference is, you're still breathing.
Hey, that cereal really does work.
The next morning, Jane is out jogging on the beach when a thug attacks her. He hits her knee with a metal pipe, breaking it, and tries to kill her. Shale happens to be nearby and saves her, but Jane is badly hurt and taken to the hospital. It seems like revenge from Lakers. At the hospital, Jane asks Shale to contact Michael Jones. He's the substitute teacher the school usually calls when someone is out. Shale makes the call but learns that Jones is already booked for the whole week, so there's no one available to take Jane's place. At that moment, Shale decides to step in himself and at the same time deal with Juan Lacas. Shale asks his old mercenary team to forge teaching documents for him and to add him into the school district's computer system under the name James Smith. The next morning, Shale arrives at Columbus. The building, surrounded by high fences, barbed wire, and metal detectors at the entrance, looks more like a juvenile detention center. In the crowded hallway covered with graffiti and full of noisy students, Shale runs into Principal Claude Roll. He introduces himself as James Smith and says he's there to fill in for Jane Hetzko. After getting formal approval, Shale heads to the classroom, ready to begin his first day as a substitute teacher.
Good morning, class.
Inside the classroom, there's total chaos. Thick cigarette smoke in the air. Some kids are playing cards. Others are rummaging through cabinets, pulling out other people's things. The appearance of a new teacher goes almost unnoticed. Shale walks to the board, quickly introduces himself as Mr. Smith, and writes his name with chalk. But in response, crumpled pieces of paper are thrown at his back. His attempt to bring order only leads to laughter and rude comments.
Frank Davis.
Hold up, man. I'm Frank, man. He's just messing with you.
Juan Lacas.
While looking through the student list, Shale pauses at the name Juan Lacas and looks up at him. Juan smirks and casually flips him the middle finger, trying. To start the lesson doesn't work. The class answers every question with jokes and noise. Instead of a lesson, there's complete disorder, and no one listens at all.
Who discovered America? Fat Mama.
In the teacher's lounge, Shale takes a short break between classes and has a casual chat with the other teachers. When Shale asks why Juan Lacasse hasn't been expelled, the teachers say it's the principal's personal decision, Claude Roll. There are rumors that Roll used to work in the gang unit of the police, and he officially explains his tolerance as part of his work with troubled teens. But for Shale, this explanation only deepens his suspicions. He goes to the school archive, hoping to find Juan's personal file to see what violations are already documented, but the file is missing. The staff member in charge of records says that the file is being kept by the principal. When Shale tries to get access, he's formally denied. Roll reminds him that he's only a temporary employee and has no right to see confidential student records. Shale notices a Rolex watch on Roll's wrist. It's clear that Roll isn't living on just a school salary. But when asked about the watch, Roll calmly says it's just a gift. Roll, in turn, notices scars and faded tattoos on Shale's arms, something that looks strange for an ordinary teacher. Shale, however, stays calm and says he served in Vietnam, and those souvenirs have been with him ever since. To end the conversation, Roll smashes a thick wooden board with his fist. This rough display of strength is meant to show that the principal is used to total control and won't tolerate interference. But Shale remains completely calm. It seems the show had no effect on him at all.
I'd remember that little truism, Mr. Smith.
Shale meets with his former mercenary teammates and offers a new job to deal with the gang that's selling drugs in the school. He believes they might also get some money in the process, since drug dealers always carry cash. The idea sounds unusual for ex-military men, but most of them react quietly, out of respect for Shale.
Well, there might be something on the back end.
You all know what's wrong here. You ain't got the guts to say it.
Holland, chill out, man.
Look, no promises, but I'm telling you there's something wrong there.
What, they're not doing their homework?
The next day, the team is already in position. One of his teammates, Rem, a specialist in tech and surveillance, is already on a telephone pole near the school, setting up equipment to intercept phone and radio signals. Inside the school building, another team member, Wellman, is working under the cover of a technical contractor. He is installing hidden cameras. Shale enters the classroom. As usual, it's pure chaos. Shale notices one of the students playing with a knife, but doesn't show any reaction. Good morning, class. Today, Shale walks in with a new attitude, focused and firm. With just a few short, sharp commands, he gets complete silence. Shale turns to the board and writes the lesson topic in big letters, Vietnam. At that moment, one of the students throws a crumpled beer can at Shale, hoping to get an emotional reaction. But Shale quickly turns around, catches the can midair, and throws it back. It hits the bully right in the forehead, knocking him off his chair and causing laughter in the classroom. The guy, stunned by the hit, quickly gets up with a fresh scrape on his forehead. But Shale stays cool and professional. With one move, he grabs the attacker, sharply twists his arm behind his back, and calmly but firmly puts him on the floor, neutralizing him without unnecessary force. In the silence, someone whispers that it's better not to mess with that guy. He's in a gang. But most of the kids, for the first time, look at the teacher not with disrespect, but with admiration, maybe even awe. Then Shale walks up to Rodriguez, the same student who was earlier playing with the knife. Coming up to him, Shale calmly but firmly demands he hand over the weapon. Rodriguez stands up, not hiding his challenge, and starts poking Shale in the chest. This turns out to be a big mistake.
It's impolite to stick your... All right, hand over the ice pick.
Motherfucker, you broke my hand!
In the silence that follows, with all eyes on him, Shale calmly but firmly declares the new rules. I'm in charge of this class. I'm the warrior chief. You fuck with me, and you will suffer my wrath. His voice allows no argument, no yelling, just iron confidence. The students stay quiet. Even the boldest ones don't dare to speak back. After what they've just seen, no one wants to test him again. The next day, the class is in order. Students sit quietly, and Shale calmly teaches the history lesson. The topic is the Vietnam War. He talks about the events he personally experienced. He shares not only what's in books, but his own memories and emotions. This instantly grabs the attention of many students. In the middle of the lesson, Lacasse and two of his friends walk in without knocking. They move slowly, defiantly to their seats. Shale calmly stops the lesson and says that being late comes with punishment. Lacasse smirks, but the teacher remains calm. He tells him to write, "I am sorry," on the board 100 times. Lacasse tries to act tough, but sees that resistance won't help. With classmates watching approvingly, he gives in and picks up the chalk. Despite the tension between Shale and Lakis, Shale slowly starts building a connection with the rest of the class. He talks about his youth, full of street fights, no money, and danger. The students start to see him not just as a teacher, but as someone who understands them and speaks their language. A feeling of respect and trust begins to grow between them. The principal not only protects Lakis and his gang, but is clearly trying to push Shale out of the school. But Shale knows his rights and isn't going anywhere. Thanks to hidden cameras that his team installed in different areas of the school, including utility spaces, he gets a recording that shows Lakis is planning an attack on Shale under the principal's orders. That means the principal isn't just covering for the criminals, he's directly involved in planning the violence. Shale checks his weapon, puts on a bulletproof vest under his shirt, and walks out of the school. In a parked car, Lakis and his gang are already waiting. Shale quickly turns and runs back into the school, drawing the gang inside. The building gives him better chances for defense than open space. When Principal Roll learns that Shale escaped inside, he gives an order to the security guards, who have secretly been involved in his dirty business all along, to join Lakis and his men. Now, Shale is up against 5 armed opponents. Shale leads the attackers into the library, and when the moment is right, he grabs one guard and takes him hostage. Holding the man at gunpoint, he orders the others to drop their weapons. Once the weapons are on the floor and locked in a nearby room, Shale puts down his own gun and boldly challenges the remaining attackers. It's going to be hand-to-hand combat. Shale throws one of the attackers out the second-floor window with a powerful move. The body hits the pavement below with a dull thud. In his office on the first floor, right under the library, Rolla hears the thud of a body hitting the ground. He's sure it's Shale and dials 911, planning to make it look like he had nothing to do with what happened. But just a few seconds later, another body crashes outside the window. Realizing that things are not going according to plan, the principal quietly hangs up the phone. One of the gang members trying to escape finds Shale's pistol that had been left behind earlier. He grabs the weapon and shoots Shale in the chest. Shale is saved by his bulletproof vest. Stunned but alive, Shale grabs the attacker and throws him out the same window. The body lands below with a heavy thud, joining the others. With that, the fight is over. The attackers retreat in shame. A tense silence falls over the school again. In the hallway, Shale comes face to face with Principal Roll. Roll's face is frozen in fear and shock, while Shale calmly smiles, as if nothing serious just happened. Shale's team keeps tracking Lakis's movements. Lakis stops at a supermarket and meets with a huge Native American thug named Johnny Glades, the same one who attacked Jane on the beach. The two men exchange silent signals, and Lakis drives away. It looks like Lakis is buying cocaine from Glades, and another drug deal is going down today. Glades and another man get into a black BMW and head to the shipping dock at the port. They have no idea that Joey and Rem have been following them the whole time, never losing sight. At the dock, everything is already set up for the deal. After a while, a boat arrives at the shore. On board are couriers carrying the goods. A quick exchange begins. Suitcases full of money go to the dock, and a bag of cocaine is loaded onto the boat. Once the deal is done and both sides are about to leave, Shale and Joey launch the active phase of the operation. Shale jumps out of hiding and quickly takes down the people on the dock. At the same time, Joey handles the rest of Lakis' men on board the boat. Once the resistance is crushed, Shale and Joey grab the briefcase full of money. As for the cocaine, Shale, without hesitation, throws the whole stash into the water. The next morning, the supplier calls Rolla, angry that he didn't receive his money. He threatens Rolla and, right in the middle of the call, kills one of the couriers. Rolla decides that Lakis must have betrayed him. Furious, he finds Lakis and physically attacks him. But Lakis insists he had nothing to do with the failed deal. Then Rolla starts to wonder, if not Lakis, then who? Soon, he figures it out. The one behind it all is the new teacher. Rolla organizes another attempt on Shale's life. That evening, as Shale is driving home after school, a car pulls up and opens fire on his vehicle. Bullets rip through the body of the car, which crashes into a building, leaving the attackers convinced that they hit their target. That same evening, English teacher Daryl Sherman, who stayed late at school with one of his students, becomes an accidental witness. He sees Principal Rolla and his men unloading a batch of drugs. Sherman realizes he's gotten too close to something very dangerous. He manages to hide the student, but he doesn't have time to escape. Rolla kills him without hesitation, eliminating the witness. The next morning, A memorial ceremony is held at the school. Everyone believes that Shale died in the attack. At that very moment, Shale calmly walks across the school courtyard. When he appears, alive and unharmed, Lakis and Rolla are speechless. They were sure the hit had worked, and now they don't know how to react. They get into Rolla's car and leave the school. Shale quickly learns from the students that the rumor about his death was spread by Rolla himself. What's worse, the kids tell him a terrible truth. Mr. Darrell Sherman was found dead in the school. From the school secretary, Shale finds out that Principal Rolla left for the day and won't return until 3:30 p.m. He has a scheduled meeting with a lawyer. That lawyer is Charles Foley, the same man who offered Shale the job protecting a shipment from South America. Now the full picture becomes clear. Rolla buys drugs from Foley in bulk and resells them through the school's network, using students as couriers and the school grounds as cover. Wasting no time, Shale heads to the sports center, where the lawyer is currently working out. He bursts in and forces Foley to confess everything he knows. Pressured, Foley admits the whole supply scheme and reveals that Rolla wasn't just a client. He was the main organizer of the local drug operation. Jerome and Lisa, two students who have grown to trust Shale, decide to visit Jane and check on her after the attack and the rumors about Shale's death. But when they arrive at her home, they walk straight into a trap. Lakis's men, acting on Rolla's orders, have broken into the house and taken Jane hostage to use her as bait and leverage. Against Shale, Jerome and Lisa are trapped inside with her. Under the threat of harming Jerome and Lisa, the gang forces Jane to call Shale and pretend everything is fine, asking him to come over. When Shale arrives at Jane's home, he plays it smart. Through the intercom, he pretends to be a delivery guy, forcing one of the thugs to open the door. As soon as the door cracks open, Shale shoots, wounding one of the guards. The remaining thugs take advantage of the distraction. They jump on Shale, disarm him, and tie him up. Suddenly, there's a knock at the door. It's the landlady. She's worried about the noise and mess. One of the thugs gets distracted, and in that moment, Shale stabs him in the leg, yanks himself free, and nearly takes control of the situation. But not for long. Lakis, who had been staying back, reacts instantly and grabs a pistol. He points it at Jane, giving Shale no chance to make another move. Shale understands that any action could cost Jane her life, so he slowly lowers his weapon. The situation shifts back in favor of the gang, but the tension keeps rising. Everything now hangs by a thread. At the exact moment when Lakis aims the gun at Shale, a sudden gunshot rings out. Lakis jerks, the pistol falls from his hand, and he collapses to the floor, hit by a bullet. It turns out that Jerome, taking advantage of the chaos and the gang's distraction, had secretly grabbed a pistol from one of the previously disarmed thugs. His shot saved both Shale and Jane. Once all the gang members are defeated, Lisa tells the others about what happened that night, how she and Jerome saw drugs being loaded into a school bus, and how Jerome was killed for witnessing it. Shale, along with his team, Joey Six, Rem, and Wellman, sneaks into the school under cover of night. They soon discover a well-hidden drug stash, packages of cocaine stored in a maintenance room. At that very moment, Rolla arrives at the school with armed guards and mercenaries working for him. They know Shale is inside and are preparing to attack. Trying to stall while his men surround the building and get ready to strike, Rolla distracts Shale with conversation, but Shale spots a sniper in the tree just in time. He reacts immediately. A loud boom echoes around the building. The school is surrounded, but Shale and his team are ready. In the gunfight that follows, Wellman manages to take out two of the attackers, but in a critical moment, the leader catches him and shoots at close range. Shale hunts the mercenary leader down and shoots him in a classroom right next to the chalkboard, where the words, "I am sorry," written by Lakis. On the roof of the building, Rem is trapped. He's wounded and can't retreat. An armed thug approaches. Knowing he has no chance, Rem detonates an explosive, taking himself and the enemy down together. Boom! Holland captures the Native American thug, Glades, but Rolla shoots Holland. Shale pushes through the smoke, wrecked hallways and bodies scattered everywhere, and finally reaches the maintenance room where the last survivors are hiding, Principal Rolla and Glades. Holland, with the last of his strength, shoots Glades, saving Shale's life. Now only one enemy remains, Claude Roll. Both men are exhausted, covered in dust, sweat, and blood. Shale is wounded in the shoulder, breathing hard, but there is still fire in his eyes. Rolla steps back, scanning the floor. He spots a pistol lying nearby. In one sudden move, he grabs the gun, gasping for air, and points it at Shale. Holding the gun with a trembling hand, tries to find out who Shale really is, who he works for, He wants to understand who he's up against, but Shale doesn't hesitate. He makes a swift move and delivers a fatal blow. Precise, fast, final. It's over. At the school entrance, Shale sees Joey Six, wounded but alive. He's sitting against a column, his side bandaged, a tired but satisfied smile on his face. Shale walks up, helps him to his feet. Together, limping and holding their injured shoulders, they walk away from the building, which has now become a symbol of victory. Columbus High, once drowning in drugs, fear, and gang violence, is now clean.